Hello everyone, it's me. And today, you are hero, Joker. The hero Gotham deserves. Thank you.
Well, the rest of the world's busy talking about Joaquin Phoenix's new Joker. Well,
Yes.
we've already done that one twice. So instead, I'm going back to revisit The Dark Knight. And you know what? It is a miracle that nobody in Gotham figures out the Bruce Wayne Batman connection. I mean, think about it. Coleman Reese, aka Bruce Wayne's accountant, goes on live TV saying that he's gonna reveal Batman's identity. I mean, who else is he exposing here, people? The Wayne Enterprises HR rep? Looks like Gotham's greatest villain isn't the Joker, it's basic critical thinking.
Basic critical thinking. Come on, man. We can all do this properly. Come on.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory. Hello.
The show that, at this point, deserves its own place in How It Should Have Ended's Villain Pub because of how frequently we step up to defend history's most iconic bad guys. Thanos, Scar, Light Yagami, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. But today we're actually tackling one of the biggest, most iconic bad guys of them all. Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight. Now, I know I'm not the first one to suggest that the Joker might be the good guy in
Yeah, I also respect to the actor who played the Joker.
this movie. In fact, one Reddit theory went viral about this exact topic a few years ago, which then got him hired by us as a researcher. Sup, Zach?
Yeah.
But a lot of time has passed
Hey.
since that original theory, and so with a very different take on the Joker currently now in theaters, our newly combined theorist forces wanted to revisit that post one final time. And at this point, we're both convinced. The world has been watching this movie completely backwards. The Joker is the hero in The Dark Knight. He's the hero that Gotham deserves. This isn't just us overthinking things either. It's clearly an intentional decision on the part of the creative team working on this movie. So suit up and prepare to watch your world burn, along with everything you thought you knew about this movie.
Yes, one of the more iconic quotes is, some people just want to watch the world burn.
First, let's set the stage by talking a little about Gotham, the primary setting for the Nolan trilogy of Batman movies, starting with Batman Begins and ending with The Dark Knight Rises. Now, these films are as much about Gotham as they are about Bruce Wayne. When the series first begins, we're presented with a Gotham that's completely corrupt, overrun with crime, mafia bosses, and paid-off police officers. In fact, the villain's plot in Batman Begins is all about correcting Gotham by purging it.
Gotham's time has come. The city has become a breeding ground for suffering and injustice. It is beyond saving and must be allowed to die.
And if fake Ra's al Ghul here sounds a bit harsh, well, that's because he is. But he's also speaking from
Technically speaking, he is the fake one.
experience.
You attacked Gotham before.
Of course.
In fact, if you re-watch Batman Begins and only focus on the League of Shadows and Ra's al Ghul's motivation, it's hammered over our heads repeatedly that their only goal is to hit reset on Gotham, a city that they consider to have become so rotten that they can no longer save it.
The forest grows too wild. Purging fire is inevitable and natural. The movement back to harmony will be unstoppable this time.
Or at least it would have been unstoppable if it hadn't been for that meddling bat. Despite Ra's pumping fear gas into the city, Gotham is eventually saved by its greatest hero, Batman. Or is it? You see,
Or
movie two,
is it?
The Dark Knight picks up about a year later, and things aren't looking much better for Gotham than when we last left them. Oh sure, Batman is cleaning up petty criminals here and there on a case-by-case basis, but he's been powerless to do anything about the true institutional corruption that pervades the city.
True. You are absolutely correct. The true injustice sometimes is the society's system that needs to be changed. That needs to be changed over time.
The mafia is still running wild, corruption is still everywhere in the police station. Heck, we're even starting to see the negative effects of Batman himself in the city. Despite trying to clean up crime, Batman's vigilante justice has only resulted in one major thing: escalation of the criminals. The looming threat of Batman being out there threatening to foil any underhanded behavior has forced the criminals to get more extreme in their behavior. They now use bigger guns and have themselves more protection. It was actually something the soon-to-be Commissioner Gordon worried about in the first movie of the trilogy.
What about escalation?
Escalation.
We start carrying semi-automatics, they buy automatics. We start wearing Kevlar, they buy armor-piercing rounds.
And what do we have at the beginning of Dark Knight? A lowly drug dealer traveling heavily armed with multiple guard dogs. Gordon's fears have become fully realized. Escalation is happening, and it's all the result of Batman. Enter the Joker, who describes himself as,
I'm an agent of chaos.
I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it.
he robs banks, blows up hospitals, sets up impossible game theory-esque scenarios where lives are constantly being threatened. Wait a minute, Game Theory? I love that show. Anyway,
Get it. Game theory on a film theory about Batman. You know. Because I'm Batman!
listen, he is a villain in every sense of the word. Or
True.
at least he is until you actually look at his actions. Because by the end of The Dark Knight, Gotham, that city that was so corrupt it had to be destroyed in Batman Begins, yeah, by the end of the second movie, it's cured. It's saved.
Huh?
And it's saved by one man. Not Bruce Wayne, but by the Joker. You see, it's easy to walk away from this movie just reciting the catchphrases.
You wanna know how I got these scars? Why so serious?
It's time.
Why so serious?
I'm for Gotham to get the hero it needs, not the hero it thinks it deserves. Right.
But if you pay attention to the plot, the Joker's ability to understand human behavior and set up dominoes to fall in just the right way is practically ingenious. When the movie begins, we watch as the Joker robs a bank. Not for the money, but to alert the Mafia to the fact that their money is being actively tracked.
The problem is money being trapped by the cops.
This causes their accountant Lau to run away with all the gang money to Hong Kong. Joker uses this to convince the combined gangs of Gotham that Lau's gonna reveal everything to Batman unless the gangs give him half their money to kill the Batman first.
Batman has no jurisdiction. You'll find him and make him squeal.
What do you propose we kill the Batman? What you will?
When Batman does, in fact, do exactly what the Joker predicted and extradite Lau forcibly, Lau starts singing like a bird, and the gangs give in to the Joker's demands. But Joker isn't content with just half the money at this point. He allows himself to get caught by the police in order to kidnap Lau and get himself all of the gang's money. Money which he then promptly burns.
Yes, and on a fun note, Batman have actually made an episode about how rich is Joker in that scene. Hint, he's a billionaire.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
In this series of movies, the Joker has now bankrupted the Mafia. The gangs of Gotham are now broken and penniless, something that no one has been able to accomplish yet. So with that out of the way, the Joker then turns his attention towards the final evil that's plaguing Gotham, that lunatic jumping off of rooftops in a ninja costume that the police refuse to do anything about, Batman. But his
The vigilante.
plan isn't to kill him. Oh no, killing the Batman would just encourage more vigilantes to take up his mantle, just like the random dudes that we see at the beginning of the movie, who are woefully underprepared for the world of hurt that they're getting themselves into. The only way to end the Batman problem is to get him to quit, to retire, to disappear, and instead have the city recognize a more wholesome, brand-safe, traditional hero. To do this, Joker lures Batman to a construction site using hostages, while his real
Snakes in the hole.
works its magic in the background. You see, by manipulating Gotham's golden boy Harvey Dent into becoming a homicidal monster, Joker leaves Batman with little choice but to kill him. Batman is forced to break his one rule, and in the process, he realizes that he has to retire. To salvage Harvey's reputation and give Gotham the hero it can believe in, he tells Gordon to blame all of Harvey's murders on himself. And Batman just gives up. That's it. Game over. He retires. For the next 8 years, up until the events of Dark Knight Rises, Batman stays retired. So at the end of Dark Knight, we have ourselves 3 key things. 1, a destabilized mafia that's penniless. 2, most of that mafia and corrupted officials in jail thanks in part to the passing of the Dent Act. Which
And because of his actions, the crimes was exposed and punished within their lifetime. I mean, crimes will get exposed no matter what. They'll be punished no matter what. But sometimes it happens after they are no longer around. Sometimes the crimes are punished decades, centuries, way too late.
Honored the supposed hero of Gotham by denying appeals to criminals found guilty in those corruption cases. And 3, no more lawless vigilantes roaming the streets. That means that for 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight, Gotham was the paradise that Bruce Wayne and Ra's al Ghul never thought would come. The Mafia defeated, dozens of corrupt cops either discovered or killed, the ineffective alcoholic commissioner replaced by the incorruptible Jim Gordon, and no need for heavily armed vigilantes. And that, dear theorists, was Joker's intent the entire time. He saved a city that everyone thought was beyond saving.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not.
Now, the first thing that a lot of fans are probably thinking is, no, Joker's an agent of chaos. You played that exact clip earlier in this episode.
You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. How would I know what to do with one if I caught it?
I'm an agent of chaos.
But can we really believe what the Joker's saying here? Of course
True.
not. It's the Joker we're talking about. Just think about the logistics of his plan in the first place. Joker had to think about the actions and reactions of the Mafia, the police, and Batman to manipulate them all.
It's like playing chess, but instead of 3 steps ahead, he's like hundreds, thousands of steps ahead, which is really well planned.
For one undeniable example, just think about his final battle against Batman. He sets up a situation where the alleged hostages are actually his goons, and vice versa. But the SWAT team and Batman that's coming in doesn't know that. So Joker is effectively pitting Batman against the SWAT team who's supposedly on his side. He's even prepared for this final showdown using dogs, which were effective against Batman up until recent improvements to his suit, as well as setting up the floor with deployable nets that entangle the Bat. This is clearly not somebody just doing things for the heck of it and seeing what happens. This is someone who makes and flawlessly executes very elaborate, very sophisticated plans. Plans, mind you, that involve specifically eliminating the most dangerous and corrupt people in Gotham. Don't get me wrong, Joker absolutely harms innocents, but think of it like cracking a few eggs to make an omelet. Harvey Dent was willing to let the top mafia dons walk. Batman was only ever thinking about how to solve a single crime or fight a small group of villains at any given moment. Joker, meanwhile, was playing the long game, the big picture.
The big picture. It's like a hero, a knight. They're awesome, but the one that is maneuvering the pieces are the emperors, the kings, the leaders of the sovereignty.
Trying to fight the corruption underlying all of Gotham's problems. Joker specifically tells Batman about his plan as he dangles off the side of the construction site.
You didn't think I'd risk losing the battle for Gotham's soul in a fistfight with you. You need an ace in the hole.
If Joker really wanted Harvey Dent to kill Gordon's family and become a monster for all of Gotham to see, why would he give Batman a chance to stop him at all? Why not let Batman realize the colossal mistake that he made the next day when he reads it in the papers? That's because the Joker doesn't really want Harvey to become that monster. He just needs Batman to think Harvey will become that monster so that Batman will make the sacrifice that he ultimately does.
I can do those things, because I'm not a hero.
Joker, as he himself admits, is fighting a battle for Gotham's soul. Not to corrupt it, but to save it in a way that only he is capable of. Now, I'm not saying that the Joker's a good person, or that anything he's doing is worthy of replication. In fact, I do believe that Joker's rather sick. So completely driven by consequentialist philosophy that he completely ignores the pain that he creates along the way.
Okay, the more you know, consequentialist philosophy, not necessarily a good thing.
The only argument here is that Joker's intent was not to watch the world burn, as some memorable quotes would have you believe, but instead to cure Gotham of its pervasive corruption. I mean, consider that dinner party scene in the middle of the movie. He takes a party filled with rich socialites hostage and does what? Nothing. nothing. I mean, he scares them with his little scar story, and he gets Batman to jump out a window, and that's it. No one else is harmed, no one else is robbed, no one's targeted or killed. He focuses on Batman, and then he leaves. And it does seem like the movie intends for this to be the case the entire time. Alfred, in the middle of the movie, has a story that he used to try and explain the erratic behavior of the Joker. Super famous scene from The Dark Knight, but when you actually stop and look at his story, it doesn't really seem to mean what he thinks it means. To refresh you on the contents of that story, a thief was stealing precious gems from a local government, but rather than selling them, he was just handing them out to the children because, as Alfred put it,
because he thought it was good sport.
The only problem is that Alfred is totally and completely wrong about the thief's intent. Let's listen to Alfred set up this story.
A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones.
That's right. These weren't just random shipments of valuables between companies. These
Bribery to local governments.
stones were specifically being used to bribe tribal leaders into submission. The locals had every reason to try and intercept those caravans to try and protect their own sovereignty. The British controlled Burma from 1824 to 1948, and just like, well, pretty much everywhere the English invaded, the Burmese people weren't particularly keen on this foreign power impressing their values and way of life onto the indigenous people half a world away. Alfred thought that the thief just wanted to watch the world burn because he believed in chaos, but in the end, it's Alfred and his friends that were doing all of the burning.
I'm not sure if you recognize it, right? This sort of impact, this sort of historical impact still have underlying right now, to the point which we call Caucasians, foreigners, especially white skin, Angmo, because we know for a fact that they are foreigners.
That bandit in the forest in Burma. Did you catch him?
It's going to take a long time for us to erase, it's not erased, come clean with the historical facts. It's going to take a long time. In the meantime, the least we can do is be understanding, we recognize that they are caught dead, and let's just treat each other not our skin, as human race. That's the bare minimum. But still, we must recognize the history so that we can learn upon it, so they can better improve and develop and grow our future, the society's future.
Yes,
How?
we burned the forest down.
If the thief truly wanted to burn the world down, well, it wouldn't be hard to set the forest ablaze. As Joker points out himself,
I enjoy dynamite, and gunpowder, and gasoline. And you know the thing that they have in common? They're cheap.
it's ultimately the men who think they're protecting justice who wind up burning the forest down. And they blame the man who just wants to save their home. That's true of Alfred's story, and it's a direct parallel with Joker's role in The Dark Knight. You can't see yourself as the villain when you think you're the hero. And that, my friends, is the twist that also happens to be the cruelest joke of them all. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And sure, dynamite, gunpowder, and gasoline may be cheap, but they could be even cheaper thanks to the sponsor for today's episode, Honey. You ever buy something online and then find out you could have gotten it for less? It's enough to drive a person
Sorry, what?
crazy. And while Batman may be the hero that Gotham deserves, Honey is the hero the internet deserves. Honey's a browser extension that scans the internet for coupon codes and other discounts, and then like magic, it automatically applies the one with the biggest savings to your cart at checkout. It knows about every coupon code sale or discount at over 20,000 sites, like Amazon, eBay, Best Buy, Target, more. Literally nothing can hide from Honey. Just like
The best option, more?
no criminal can hide from Batman. In fact, the viewers of Film Theory who've already installed Honey have saved themselves in total $161,000 $1,000. And it doesn't even have to be big stuff either. I just got myself an order from Pizza Hut to have myself a personal Friday night pizza party, and it saved me $8.33 on something that I literally buy every single week. I mean, $8.33 that I'd be overpaying every week? That adds up. A couple weeks and I'm saving myself enough to buy a Switch game. And best of all, Honey is entirely free.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Joker apparently has never heard of Honey because it is indeed free. It gets itself a commission from the seller for every deal that it helps you save money on. That is how easy this thing is. There is no reason to keep throwing that money away. All it takes to install is just 2 clicks. Click 1, getting Honey for free at joinhoney.com/filmtheorists. Or, since Film Theorists is really long to type in, just use the link below. And secondly, install. That's all you need to do. That is it. Not even billionaires like Bruce Wayne want to waste their money. So make the smart decision. Make the Batman decision. Join honey.com/filmtheorists. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got myself a pizza that I saved $8.33 on waiting outside this closet. I'll see you all next week. Join Honey!
Thank you so much for support. Anyways, if you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have any share of us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and I sincerely appreciate all of your support and encouragement for my work. Thank you all so much, you are all the best. And I hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye bye. Once again, please remember to subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.